Hello and welcome to Newscentre. I am Ashmit Kumar. Now, the Electronics Ministry has rejected claims that it is seeking source code details from phone makers such as Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi and Google. The ministry has clarified that no such mandate is under consideration and said that it is only conducting a routine stakeholder consultation on security standards. It added that it has been engaging with industry representatives to better understand technical challenges, compliance burdens and international best practices adopted by smartphone manufacturers. This clarification comes after a Reuters report stated that the Indian government was mulling over new smartphone security rules related to source code. Now, sources say it was proposed by National Centre for Communication Security, and MeitY has just proposed it during the latest round of stakeholder consultations. Meanwhile, the Indian Cellular and Electronics Association said that it is, in its statement, said that the issue is not new and that discussions on this matter have been ongoing for several years now and warrants no special attention. Secondly, the association said that it is completely normal for the government to engage with the industry in such discussions, ask technical and compliance-related questions, and for the industry to respond with international practices and clarify what may or may not be possible. The body added that it is confident of reaching a consensus on the best way forward. And well, joining us now to discuss this with us Mr. Pankaj Mohindroo, Chairman of India Cellular and Electronics Association, as well as Mr. Ashok Chandak, President of ISA. He'll be joining us shortly as well. Mr. Mohindroo, thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us. Let's first address the elephant in the room. One issue based on which this story has gone viral has been, is the Indian government asking for source code details from the likes of Apple, from the likes of Samsung. Is that true? Is that what falls from the government as expected from the industry, Mr. Mohindroo?
Ashmit, these discussions have been going on since 2020. There was a paper put out by DOT, which is the ITSAR. And I think the confusion is that there is telecom equipment and there is handsets and there are other consumer premises equipment. So all of that is there. And the mobile devices are being discussed in the MeitY, not in the DOT. And I think the hue and cry has been created because of some irresponsible media reports. You remember many years back, there was the SAR, specific absorption rate, where there were many conspiracy theories. And in the end, a very light touch regulation came out that ILAC, which is the International Laboratory Accreditation Council, a self-certification by giving a report from the ILAC is good enough for the industry to complete the compliance. So these reports are unsubstantiated. We've come out with a very robust clarification. The discussions, mobile phones is under the jurisdiction of MeitY, and the discussions are going on. They are very harmonious, very positive, and I think the industry understands.
Right, Mr. Mohindroo.
Yeah.
So the discussion is underway. You're, of course, hoping for some form of consensus with MeitY, with the government on this. The government, of course, on its account, clarifying its position as well. But given that there are consultations currently underway between the industry and between MeitY, what is it that the government is seeking clarity on? Is it essentially on the source code details? Is it on security parameters like certain data logs that have to be maintained for 12 months? What are these parameters on which the clarity has been sought from the industry?
See, a new framework, a security framework is being envisaged, which will be, which will protect the industry. Now, the handset, the smartphone is so elaborate and it's such a evolved this thing that there are, for example, financial apps on the smartphones, which is not the responsibility of the smartphone brand. These are the responsibilities of where the financial apps have to get cleared by the appropriate authority or Reserve Bank of India, etc. So that this whole sieving is happening, that what all is on the smartphone, what will be whose jurisdiction, what all has to be tested and put forward by the smartphone owner. But let me clearly advise that there is the prospect of sharing source code, etc., is not in these discussions at all.
Fair enough. Which, in fact, was my very next question, that while MeitY is doing these consultations with you, source code, of course, being one of them that seems to have sparked a lot of interest in these developments, what I want to ask is that has there been prima facie any expression of view from MeitY, whether it's standing firm on this issue of source code, or if there is flexibility to accommodate the concerns that phone makers like Samsung, like Apple may have?
No, there is, I confirm that there is no requirement of sharing the source code. How can a source code be shared? That is the entire proprietary technology of a brand. I mean, if no
So far
government,
from your conversations,
no government would like to have the source code because it's such a humongous responsibility, and it is not shared anywhere else in the world. So I don't know
an
what
important clarification.
in Kanpur these are called Chandu Khane ki khabrein. So I think the particular whichever report you were talking about,
Right.
I am out of the country, so I have not seen it. But this is very irresponsible, very irresponsible reporting.
Let's go beyond the source code as well. There are, as a part of this NCCS proposal, which came out, like you said, way back around 3 years back, there are other parameters such as informing the government of updates, security testing and certification by designated labs of these devices, pre-installation apps have to be removable, security audit logs for about 12 months. These are some of the parameters, some of the suggestions that were put forth. Are any of these aspects on which you have or the industry has expressed a view whether or not these can be agreed to, complied with?
So at the moment, these discussions are in sort of in confidentiality, and we will come out with a. I think the MeitY will come out with a final regulation on this uh, to the satisfaction of the industry. Nobody in the industry has a feeling that we are being pushed around or elbowed or anything. The discussions are very harmonious, and the industry has a very peaceful existence with MeitY and Government of India. Industry has been growing very rapidly and has delivered fantastic results. And it's just not proper to just cry wolf all the time. We need to be in a
Sure.
positive frame of mind.
Right. Mr. Mohindroo, since these discussions have only just begun, any timeline that the government has shared as to by when it is looking to come out and formalize some of these security parameters? They will all have, depending on what criteria are agreed upon, will have far-reaching consequences, not just for the smartphone manufacturing industry, but for the larger civil society, mobile users as well. So any timeline that they've expressed by when they're looking to formalize these security parameters?
No, there is no hard, stop on this. And the discussions, as I said, are very harmonious and are going on. There is a discussion on 13th also. So my feeling is that by the end of March or April, we should be see the final outcome of these discussions.
Another similar issue, which in fact grabbed headlines just a few weeks back, had been the proposal from the DoT for pre-installing Sanchar Sathi and having it non-deletable as far as the smartphone devices were concerned. That had come from the DoT. These latest security parameters, I'm given to understand 83 of them, as put out by an arm of the DoT, again coming out from the Department of Telecom. Does this indicate to you that there is closer coordination that is needed for the DoT to actually take MeitY into confidence before proposing such parameters, such conditions for the smartphone industry?
I won't like to be prescriptive about how DoT should go about doing its business. I'm sure there is superintendents on DoT in the Government of India structure, and they are a responsible department. If they put out something which is not acceptable or they have very gracefully withdrawn that also. So I won't take a cue from Sanchar Sathi and think that they are proposing irresponsible things. Even if something is a little something is proposed which is a bit of a stretch, there are always consultations possible, and that's what is going on. So Ashmit, I am not getting drawn into this trap, please.
And one final question for you, Mr. Mohindroo, and this I ask you not just as an association of smartphone manufacturers, but also as a smartphone user yourself. Is there a need for perhaps opening up this discussion to a larger gamut of stakeholders beyond just the industry, to perhaps also bring in members of civil society, consumer groups, think tanks? Is that something that is required for a broader-based consensus on the way forward?
No, if there are concerns which other groups have, civil society or whatever, they should put forward these to the MeitY and also to us. I have not heard of any such concerns, or at least we have not been informed of any such concerns, and I think even MeitY has not been informed of any such concerns.
Right, Mr. Mohindroo, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm given to understand that Mr. Chandak has also logged in. Mr. Chandak, thank you so much for taking our time for this discussion. Quick question to you. Just your reaction to some of these reports which suggested that there are sensitive details like source code being sought. Mr. Mohindroo there clarifying that there is no such demand, but that the industry is in fact in conversation with the government on security protocols. Mr. Chandak.
So my views, as I understand, I also reading some of the reports. MeitY themselves have declined that they have asked for a source code. I am also not aware of any source code demand which is being made here actually. But I would say that we're to look at this also from a balanced view, that this is some routine structured consultation with the industry stakeholders, and the security obviously remains the important point. I want to add here that the central government and particularly MeitY have been very consistently, they have demonstrated strong support and growth of India's technology industries, electronics, semiconductors, and all those. At the same time, it is well understood that the security topics are paramount and they are quite important. And going by the past...
Mr. Chandak, we're running out of time. I'll just quickly ask you, is there a view that ISA has formalized that it will be conveying to MeitY in the days, weeks to come?
We haven't made a final conclusion yet, but our view is very simple. It's a balanced view in terms of India's security is also quite important. And whatever is required for that to prevent the protection of the user data, prevent the cybercrime, and global benchmark of the practices is important. So the narrative has to be straight, upfront, transparent, and a close cooperation and a trust with the industry stakeholders is quite important. Not only the mobile phone makers, but also the software, the operating system developer, because it goes through multiple layers of the softwares and also the hardware-related security, that everything comes in picture. So I don't think source code is the only topic here actually, but it's more of the broader aspect.
Right, Mr. Chandak. Right, Mr. Chandak, we're completely out of time. I'd like to thank both of our panelists for sharing their thoughts. Mr. Mohindroo, Mr. Chandak, on the way forward, saying that there is no demand from MeitY, from the government, asking for the source code from smartphone makers, but that there is a discussion ongoing on security parameters. That discussion, of course, will unfold in the weeks and months to come. But with that, it's time now for heading into a very short break. But coming up on the other side, after years of safety lapses and intense regulatory scrutiny, Boeing says it has overhauled its manufacturing and quality processes. A special coverage from Boeing's factory in the United States. Stay tuned.
American aircraft manufacturer Boeing has spent the last few years American aircraft manufacturer Boeing has spent the last few years battling one of the deepest crises in its history. Repeated safety lapses, production quality failures, and intense regulatory scrutiny, particularly around the 737 MAX program. So, what has changed since then? To find out, CNBC-TV18 traveled to Boeing's manufacturing facilities in the United States from Seattle to South Carolina to see how these aircraft are built today and how Boeing says it is strengthening safety oversight and quality controls across its final assembly lines. Seattle is Boeing's global home and the starting point of this story. It is here that Boeing builds the world's most widely used commercial aircraft, even as it works to restore customer confidence after a series of incidents. The 737 MAX has been at the center of Boeing's troubles, from fatal crashes to manufacturing defects that triggered production slowdowns and regulatory action. Today, Boeing says this factory operates under tighter controls, slower production rates, and increased safety oversight. This is the place where the world's most popular narrow-body plane, the 737 MAX, comes to life. I'm inside Boeing's Renton, Seattle facility, and what you see around me are the 737 planes getting assembled, taking shape, moving each position every step in a day. There are 10 positions and they're moving each position every day while the mechanics put together each part, the fuselage, the wings, the landing gears, until they're